The biggest evidence gap is that we do not have adequate data and information to show it to the people and policymakers that what is the gap between the emissions when we are making and certifying new vehicles and the actual on-road real-world emissions once the vehicles are out on the road and the technology begins to deteriorate over a period of time. That the real-world emissions which we inhale from the vehicles, a source of very high exposure, that what matters. Now, if you do not generate adequate data to demonstrate this, that how high the levels can go from the on-road, when we think that these vehicles might be emitting a lot less because they are meeting better emission standards. But in reality, that is not the case. So generating data for that, and then to show, again with evidence and data, that if you upgrade not only the technology, but also the system of on-road surveillance and monitoring to do better emission checks, then how you can keep the vehicle low emitting throughout the useful life on the road and reduce the exposure levels. People really need to understand the leap that the current vehicle technology has taken in India with the introduction of not only BS6 emission standards, but also the subsequent revision and adoption of real-world driving emission regulations. With that, we have seen massive change in the technology level of monitoring emissions from the vehicle. One, the vehicles now have inbuilt system, onboard diagnostic system, that can monitor and record the actual performance of the vehicle when they are in use. Secondly, we have portable emission monitors that you can fit in the tailpipe, and as vehicles are being driven on the road, you can measure the real-world emissions. And then you have the remote sensing, which you keep by the roadside. You and I don't have to take our vehicles for physical tests, but that machine can read your emissions as you are driving on the road and catch you if you are the worst polluter. Now, all these technologies are today available in India legally, and we have adopted them. But the biggest gap is we have not yet been able to come up with the operational framework of looking at the application of these technologies for inspection and maintenance program and on-road surveillance. And that's what we now have to pay attention to. We have to move out of that archaic 0-1 PUC program, which is so ineffective now. So this paradigm shift, the modernization in surveillance methods, is absolutely necessary for internal combustion engines.